the land where overnight parts come from, or Japan. It's a place that Forza Horizon fans have been asking like a prayer since approximately 2012. Madonna did it first, though. Every year before every reveal, the community would gather in their Reddit threads and Discord servers like fortune tellers over a crystal ball. It's gonna be Japan this time. I can feel it. And every year, you got something different. You got Australia, Mexico, and Britain. But this time, though, Playground Games finally did it. So, was it worth the wait? Spoiler alert, yes. Mostly with some asterisk, and some of note for our fellow sim racing nerds that use sim racing equipment, because I can tell you that the compatibility is quite weird. Before going to the rest of the video, I'm trying to get 100,000 subscribers. If you like these types of videos and these videos help, please press like and subscribe. That also helps. And also check out sponsor Coach Dave Academy and all the affiliate links below. Anyways, let's drive. Let's start with the obvious. The setting is, without question, the game's greatest achievement. Japan has been the most fan-requested Forza Horizon destination since the series launched, and honestly, the request made complete sense on paper because Japan is one of the biggest homes of car culture. It's the birthplace of TOUGE, the origin of JDM obsession, the country that turns drifting into a martial art and gave the world the Nissan Skyline, the Toyota Supra, and countless nights of street racing lore that became the bedrock of every racing game fantasy ever made. If you grew up watching initially on a crappy website, Japan isn't really just a setting, it's basically a whole vibe. And Playground Games, to their considerable credit, clearly understood the assignment. The map is the largest and most varied in the series. You've got the Tokyo city at the center, and when they say city, they do mean city, at least for what this game is concerned. Tokyo in Forza Horizon 6 is 5 times larger than the city of Guanajuato in Forza Horizon 5. But anyways, all my homies hate that place anyways. Edinburgh was much, much better. But, and this is important, Japan isn't just Tokyo. The map reaches out into the countryside with mountain ranges, alpine passes, volcanic terrains, wetlands, coastal roads, and snow-capped peaks in the north. Mount Fuji and other mountains will lurk in the horizon, but it's really not drivable there, unfortunately, and, well, you would expect otherwise. The Japanese highlands are permanently snow-covered regardless of season, meaning you get this gorgeous contrast of warm cherry blossoms in the valleys and white mountain caps in the distance. It's the kind of world you want to just drive through, not race across, and that for me happens a lot. So, right, what are we actually doing in this game? Well, not different from any other Forza Horizon, because the core Horizon loop remains intact. You collect cars, you race events, you earn credits, unlock more events, repeat until you've sunk around 80 hours in and you're not entirely sure what day it is. But Forza Horizon 6 adds meaningful structure on top of that familiar skeleton, and the most interesting part is the dual progression system. So essentially, you've got two parallel tracks simultaneously. You got the Forza Horizon Festival path, which is really normally what you would normally do in this game, and other small events as well here and there, with your traditional wristband progression. You got your normal stuff, you got sprints, cross-country events, drag meets, and those glorious, absurd showcase events. In the second, you have some sort of thing called Discover Japan, which is essentially a travel and culture mini campaign that sends you hunting out historical landmarks, and then you complete story missions with the side characters like Mei and Yuki. It's actually a genuinely elegant solution to a problem Horizon games always had. The world is beautiful, but the game rarely gives you a reason to slow down and actually look at the game. Discover Japan, it gives you that reason. You just drive a little bit slower, a little bit more calmly, and you're not just driving through Japan, you're actually learning about it. One interesting addition to the gameplay will be the Touge, because this is where Forza Horizon 6 earns its Japanese setting most empathically. Touge battles are basically races famous on Japanese mountain roads. You will know stuff like Mount Haruna or Mount Akine, for example. So these roads are very tight, they are winding downhill most of the times, and you essentially will be living on the edge. The emphasis then in these races will change from raw speed into precise braking points and clean corner exits, and critically, some drifting actually matters. However, I must say this as a long time Assetto Corsa driver, TOUGE in Forza Horizon scratches a bit of the itch, but that itch doesn't really go away. It doesn't get anywhere as close or as tense or as bonkers or to what it happens in Assetto Corsa or even in the R Factor 1. It's a placeholder, something that has the format but is not as tense because the roads are wide and it misses some of the danger of the close quarter battles that do happen at TOUGE. There are parts of Japanese underground culture like drifting or even some Shotoko driving battles also are here, but it's really once again not at the depth that is available in Assetto Corsa. But in a game this wide, it would be very hard to get some sort of depth into all of these types of races, so everything is more or less a placeholder that will scratch some of the itch, but the itch doesn't really go away. Anyways, the showcase events are, as ever, utterly unhinged in the best possible way. The standouts, and probably this has been mentioned in every single one of the reviews out there, is a race against a, I don't know, 6 or 7 stories tall mech robot through the map. It's simultaneously the most absurd and most genuinely exciting thing about the game. I mean, I was basically saying out loud, am I racing a fucking Gundam? It really perfectly encapsulates what Forza Horizon is as a franchise. It's a game that looks you dead in the eye and says, we could do maybe a realistic circuit race, but we'll leave that with the guys with Forza. But now we could have you drag race a skyscraper-sized robot. And Forza Horizon always chooses the robot. One valid criticism that I have is that the game could have gone further into Japanese car culture with more TOUGE battles, more dedicated drift event chains, more midnight club-style street racing, more initial D energy. The foundation is there, but there is a sense that Playground games occasionally held back from fully committing to the racing identity many fans expected from a Japan setting. You wanted more, I wanted more. The game gives you a lot, but it does leave something on the table. Once again, largely it's because of the scale. Probably they couldn't go as deep. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about the handling part of it, and we need to be straight with each other here. You probably already know this. Forza Horizon always has been an arcade racer. It's not apologetically arcade. It is confidently arcade. It knows what it is. The handling is predictable, it's forgiving, it's fast and satisfying. It sits in a sweet spot between the supernatural grip of Need for Speed games and the unforgiving simulation of Assetto Corsa or something of the sort. The cars do have weight, they rotate, they understeer. If you are greedy, they will lift off oversteer if you trail brake into a hairpin or you try to accelerate too much, but they won't punish you all the way like a sim does. Though arcadey, Forza Horizon 6, the handling continues to be meaningful and believable to an extent, until the car starts to be tuned into Looney Tunes land. And going back to the TOUGE races, in particular, they demand actual driving discipline, that you need clean entries, you need the patient throttle application and controlled slides. On higher difficulty levels with the assists turned off, there's a genuine sense that you are actually managing a car rather than pointing a camera at the finishing line. And speaking of handling, we need to talk about the steering wheel usage. And, well, if you're in a direct drive or a steering wheel, well, I see you. And the truth is, it's okay-ish if you can get it working. But fundamentally, it's still a controller game. There's nothing wrong with it. The handling improvements of the game help, the tire physics help. The problem is it is a mess to try to figure out how to make a steering wheel work, because once again this is made for a controller. I'm using a Fanatec wheel, and essentially if you have more than 3 devices, that means if you have like a shifter, a handbrake, a pedal, and the steering wheel all connected to USB, you will lose force feedback. That means this game actually likes to have everything connected to a wheelbase. Some brands like Simagic, some issues with Monza as well, and Simicube and even Fanatec, you need to do some sort of workarounds or they don't work at all. So if you're looking at this from a point of view of trying with the steering wheel, you know, get the controller, you are going to save a lot of time and a lot of headaches. But it works okay when it works, and I'm not going to say it's transformative because it's not. It's a very basic force feedback system, and honestly, after a while trying it out, I had basically a mixed feeling about this. If I drive with the steering wheel, I much rather just cruise in the game, and if I have the controller, I much rather just drive and race in the game, which is quite interesting. But in between choosing the controller or the steering wheel for this specific title, I much rather use the controller, and that's just me. So the bottom line for the wheel users, it's likely the most usable Horizon on a wheel to date, and the TOUGE races in particular sing with the proper setup, but you should go with appropriate expectations because this is not a sim. It's a very good simcade-ish, more into the arcade-ish kind of stuff, but it will respect your wheel if you make it work, but don't expect like Gran Turismo levels of compatibility. As for the graphics, well, I am definitely flabbergasted. I think it's the best looking entry in the series, and it's not particularly close. And the ray tracing is deployed throughout the actual open world this time. It's not just the car viewer, it's not just showroom or whatever, but it's basically everywhere, in the roads, in the rain, at night, at the mountains. Global illumination and ray tracing illumination do have a difference in the way how they looks, and everything is kind of bouncing correctly across environments and everywhere else in real time. And talking at night with the rain coming down is genuinely unreal and very good looking. You got these neon signs everywhere, or LED signs dissolving into reflections on the tarmac, and the headlights catching the underside of motorway bridges, and all of that stuff. It just looks beautiful. On a PC at 1440p with high to ultra settings, you are looking at 100 to 120 FPS on a mid-range modern rig. In mine, with almost everything turned into ultra or extreme, I get 120 or 100, and 144 almost fixed with 2x frame gen. If I get the ray tracing on, I will lose somewhere 20 to 30 FPS. DLSS works really well in this game, and it doesn't get anywhere fuzzy like in some other games that I see around. And in terms of scalability and in terms of the way this game is optimized, I think they have done a very good job. I would expect this runs in the whole roster of PCs and handhelds, and probably even very well on the Xbox. What I'm going to say though is, if this graphical engine, and I mean just graphical engine, was applied to a sim racing title, we would be in heaven, because it is fantastic. It looks great in every single circumstance. It represents scale, color, lights, changes from day to night, weather very well. I absolutely adore it, like I did it on Forza Horizon 5, and Forza Horizon 6 just takes it to one next level. The representation of cars, the models seem to be updated, but not all of it. Though I must say that the human character models, they are odd. The cars once again look extraordinary. The people though, they look like they are from a different game in time. This is a Forza tradition of sorts at this point, and I'm beginning to think it's intentional. The characters just look bad, and the customization isn't really the best. You get prosthetics, which is good for representation, I suppose, but I can't choose any beards. We need now to talk about fun. We can talk about force feedback and graphics and whatever for a while, and I have been, but none of it matters if the game isn't fun. And Forza Horizon 6, in my opinion, as a 40-something guy, it's absolutely fun. It's fun in a way that makes you look up and realize it's like, oh, I spent like 4 hours in this, and the time just went by. I went for just one more race, or, oh, I want to go there because I'm seeing it over there. I haven't done this road. And this goes around in everything that I race on, or every car I try to unlock or customize or whatever. I just want to go around and discover the map. It's not just about racing, it's also about discovering. And for me, that is fun. There's a lot of variety in this game, and that variety keeps boredom away. The map earns exploration. The cars, there's like 600 of them. They offer genuine personality across classes and types. You get like the JDM heroes, you got American muscle in European cars, hot hatches and the sorts, but you also have Pajeros and Land Cruisers and stuff of the sort they haven't seen for a while. The cars, the settings, the events, they mesh very well together, and I think, in my opinion, this, of all of the Forza Horizons that I've tried, I think this was the best formula, the best polished execution, and I think Japan is just a perfect way, perfect place to do a Forza Horizon. So the verdict from me, as someone that bought the game, Forza Horizon is, without argument, for me, once again, the best game in the Horizon series, because the setting delivers on 14 years of fan expectation. The handling is fun, and I think it's improved. You got the TOUGE stuff, you got the Japanese car culture stuff, at least at a certain extent. It could go deeper. The graphics on the PC are absolutely beautiful in terms of light reflection at the level, in my opinion, of Gran Turismo 7. There is a progression that is interesting. There are stories around, sometimes a little bit cringe, but they work. They want you to explore the map in a way that makes sense, and it's not just like a full-on Baja like it happened on Forza Horizon 5. The only downside that I have found, and I've already mentioned this, is the usability on the steering wheel, but honestly, the handling requires you or wants you to use a controller, so might as well just use it. I love this game. I think it was very well done, and I'll be playing more of this.